which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Supervisor McCabe? Here. Councilperson Matters?
Present.
Councilperson O'Brien?
Here.
Councilperson Malone?
Present.
And Councilperson Mann.
Present.
Town of East Greenbush notice of public hearing. Whereas Resolution 75, 2009, the board conducted a public hearing on the form of proposed local law concerning the proposed Carver Court Plan Development District. And whereas continuing discussions and additional review of the matter has resulted in the town planning director recommending additional modifications to said proposed law. And whereas the town of East Greenbush remains desirous to obtain input from the public concerning the possible granting of the Carver Court Plan Development District, notice is hereby giving that the town board of the town of East Greenbush has scheduled a public hearing March the 16th, 2011 at 6:15 p.m. to consider comments from the public concerning the possible granting of Carver Court Plan Development District. By members of the town board, Kim Carlock, Deputy Town Clerk.
I'd like to say hello to Dick Tice, Don Z, John Brewer, who have given many presentations before the town and have been involved in a number of public hearings. Just last Thursday at the Free Board, the gentleman gave a presentation to us in the audience. And what I would like them to do now is whatever you guys are comfortable with to present, and we'll rehash. I know we've had a public hearing before on this. We've had that, but by statute, here we go again. So Don, if you'd like to take charge.
Sure. Thank you.
Move it over there so they can see better and we're not trying to hide anything from them.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Donald Z. I'm the attorney for the applicant here. As the supervisor noted, we did have a public hearing on this matter back in September of 2009. And at that point in time, there was one resident who came forward for this project, and surprisingly, he had no objections to our application, but let me just go forward and introduce the project. We have a 72-acre parcel which has access off of Upper Mannix Road. This is the area of Thompson Hill Road. What we are proposing is to rezone the property for a PDD, which would consist of 29 4-unit buildings and 35 2-unit buildings, which would be townhomes. These are just a couple of samples of the 4-unit buildings that we're proposing. All of them would have attached garages. They would be flats. These are townhome units, and we would have a variety of townhome styles, floor plans, and these are some other elevations. The town board and the planning board was very concerned about having a mix of unit colors and types, and during our process, we had gone to the detail of even bringing colors of siding and shutters and talked about roof colors, etc. So we had a variety of discussions. During the course of our discussions, we came forward to the town with this project because I sat down and read the town's comprehensive plan as well as its Route 4 traffic study. And in looking at your comprehensive plan, there was a discussion of having a variety of housing types. So we talked about having the condominiums, the 4-unit buildings, and townhomes, which is what were desired in your comprehensive plan. They were talking about having bicycle trails as well as pathways for pedestrian access, and that was also included on Route 4 in your study. I was involved in a project in the adjoining town, North Greenbush, back where the CVS is going in right there, and I had discussions with DOT on what was occurring in North Greenbush on Route 4, and as a person who does biking and does some running and walking, I thought it was very difficult to anticipate having people go up and down Route 4 as a pedestrian way or as a bike way. And I thought that if the town in fact wanted, I'm going to call a multi-purpose path, here is a project that we would potentially offer that. So as part of the project, the 72 acres, we would be proposing to build a multi-purpose path to the entire length of the project. And the multi-purpose path, when I say it's multi-purpose, it isn't a 5-foot wide sidewalk except for in this area here, but it would in fact be a 8-foot wide paved surface that would service both bicycles as well as pedestrians. And the discussion and planning with then Mr. Benko and other members of your development committees were to talk about ultimately having this expand northerly into the adjoining properties. Because when we came forward with this project almost 40 years ago, there was discussions about adjoining properties being developed. That's why we have this curvature in this road here, because part of the PDD would provide for us to set aside an easement in this area, so as this land is to be developed, this roadway could go northerly there. There is discussions, because some parties have approached the town about developing the property here going towards the water tower. And once again, we talked about the development of the multi-purpose path and roadway in that direction. For our discussions, all the roads in here by the housing are to be privately owned and maintained. There have been concerns about from the highway department and from town officials as to the fact that what happens in the future, even though we talk about making them privately owned and maintained, the residents would come back and demand that the town take them over. We had indicated that in the homeowners association documents, they would include language that they would be never available for dedication to the town. So that purchasers would know up front, by way of the homeowners association documents, that that would not be a possibility. During the course of our presentations between the town board and the planning board, I think the meetings, we had, and workshops, we had over 20 plus such meetings over the course of the 4 years. The town wanted us to look at the number of units that we were proposing, because under a conventional subdivision, you could have 124 single-family homes. We then did, and in Mr. Tyson's narrative to the town, a comparison of what is permitted and what we are proposing. And even though we are proposing more units, because the units are limited in size and the type of the units, meaning 2 bedrooms as opposed to single-family homes, which normally I'm going to average, say, 3.5 bedrooms, and because of the nature of the project, we are proposing less impacts in the school system, because there would be less children, and we would anticipate less trips, car travel. And you'd say, how come that true? Well, once again, we looked at the Route 4 corridor study, and based on the information from your town-approved and town-adopted Route 4 study, the number of trips for a single-family home is in excess of 1 per unit during the peak hours. And peak hours are somewhere between 7:30 and 9 o'clock in the morning, as well as somewhere between 4 and 6 in the p.m. versus townhomes and condominiums. And I think the number in the peak hour in the evening, you would anticipate 138 trips with the single-family homes, but only 119 with the project that we are proposing. So we have less impact on traffic, less impact on the schools, but at the same time, we anticipate generating more tax dollars. The entranceway here, we propose this to be a boulevard entrance to this roundabout. The roundabout is proposed based on our discussions because we wanted a traffic calming device, something to slow down the traffic. We did request for the homeowners association, because we wanted to make this entrance road attractive, we wanted to reserve the right to have the ability to landscape this boulevard entranceway, as well as to install lights, and the cost of the landscaping and the lighting of it would be borne by the homeowners association and not the town. Because once again, this is their entranceway to this development, and we want to make sure it's well maintained and the residents have a certain degree of control over that. It should also be noted during the course of discussion, there were questions with regard to amenities. Besides having the multi-purpose path, we propose a clubhouse recreational facility here for the project. Now, one thing that we also talked about, because we understand that there are residents who have nice homes along Thompson Hill Road, what are we going to do with all this green area, which we call open space? During the course of our discussions, I offered to the town and would offer to the residents in that area the following. We have no plans whatsoever to develop this land whatsoever. And as you can see, there are very irregular rear yards there. And often a developer or a developer's representative like myself would stand up here and say, oh, we're not going to impact those residents. Well, we propose to go even further. If the residents, we propose to subdivide the lands and then offer the extra land to the adjoining property owner with the proviso that they can't go and build any structures there, any development. Because this way, they will have a permanent buffer, add value to their property by extending their rear yard, and they now know what's going to happen in their rear property, because we are going to turn around and deed it to them. So I think that's a certain protection mechanism for those residents who live on Thompson Hill, expands their property. In fact, some of these homes, they really don't have any rear yards. I can see some structures in this property right here, and it looks like it's only 5-10 feet off the rear property line. So we're willing to expand it 50 to 100 feet, or whatever we can work out. If this PDD is adopted by this town, and we go back